All right, hello, and welcome back to Speedrun Ragnarok 2021. My name is Spoonee. Thank y'all so much for waiting. Our next game that we've got for you is Yu-Gi-Oh! The Duelists of the Roses. So I hope that you're ready to duel, because that's the only thing I know about Yu-Gi-Oh! But maybe our wonderful runner, Tyler2022, can help us out.
Thank you so much. So, for like those that are maybe like casual Yu-Gi-Oh fans, or maybe you've been playing it for a while, this isn't your typical Yu-Gi-Oh game. And if you look at the bottom left character, you may recognize him from like Forbidden Memories, and that's because this is pretty much a like direct sequel to Forbidden Memories, except for it is taking place during 1480s England during the War of the Roses with inserted Yu-Gi-Oh characters. I don't know why they did it like that, but that's all right. But anyway, we are going to start here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. So you notice there that like there was two choices there. Pretty much, if I go with red roses, I'll be fighting against the like white roses, and vice versa. And the red roses are the like protagonists. So that'd be Yuki, Joey, and like company. And then the white roses has Pegasus, Kaiba, pretty much the like antagonists of the series. So for the very first part of this, after we skip these cutscenes and I change some settings, I'll actually be going to my deck edit, and I'll be putting in a bunch of passwords. Now you're like, oh man, passwords, that's kind of cheating. Well, with this game, you can only use the password once per card, and there's a deck cost that you actually need to follow. So I can't just throw in a bunch of really powerful cards and just, kind of go with that. So I actually need to kind of be a bit careful, and you'll be seeing in the gameplay aspect on that, it's not always about the biggest numbers, but sometimes it's about the type of card that I'll actually throw in. So that was just the beginning cutscene. Here we're going to be going off on a little boat here, and as you see, that is our, and that is the Patrician of Darkness, which is a zombie-based deck, which is what we'll be using today. Change that so that way there aren't any battle animations, and I will be putting this in for the next 4 to 5 minutes, so hope you all enjoy the music.
I do enjoy some good music. And while you're putting in those passwords, we do actually have a donation. We have $100 from Emmy, whose comment is just less than 3. Thank you so much, Emmy. We really appreciate that. And as a reminder, you are watching Speedrun Ragnarok 2021 benefiting Take This. The Take This motto is support, community, and mental wellness because it takes both appropriate support, including healthy work in home environments, clinical support, and opportunities for self care, as well as a supportive community to build the resilience everyone needs for mental well being. We are also just a little bit above 1,500, I think almost $1,600 away from fully funding a whole AFK room. And for those of you who don't know, many marathons, have gone virtual this year. And Take This has taken note. So they usually do their AFK rooms in person, but now they have something called AFK Online, which is a moderated Discord server that has been specifically designed to offer peer based non therapeutic emotional support to attendees. If you'd like more information on that, you can visit takethis.org and for a link to their server. You could also type exclamation point Discord in chat to get the link to their Discord.
So as you can see, for like most of these passwords, it's a bit of a combination. Now, for the ones that are strictly numbers, those are ones that were well known. Now, I hope I am not kind of like misspeaking here, but I'd like to say maybe 2 to maybe 3 years ago, it was actually found through, I believe, a generic mad scientist while he was looking through the code that there were some like hidden passwords, and that is the reason why, for the speedrun at least, this is a lot more doable since we can have access to a lot more powerful cards that was previously thought to, not be available. So that's good that we have more cards to choose from. It's always good to have options, as some of these cards will come in very handy later on. And we are a little over halfway done here. I mess up one of the passwords, just slight misclick, and if you get it wrong, it makes you do it all over again. So that's a bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. And I guess right now I can talk about a bit of the actual gameplay. So if you've played Forbidden Memories, then you will kind of a similar fusion mechanic. So rather than you spell card like polymerization, we actually just fuse them in our hand just as is. And how do you do that? It's not exactly clear, and a lot of it is just kind of trial and error or looking up stuff on like game facts or like game guides. Thankfully, though, a lot of the monsters are going to be pretty straightforward, and there's going to be one monster in particular that we're essentially going to be spamming out just because it is such a powerful card that pretty much will be carrying us for most of the game. Also, I will be putting in some of these field spells, like this one here is going to be Yami. And field spells are going to be very important because in this game, rather than playing it on a tabletop, we are playing it on a 7x7 grid. So it's a bit like chess, I guess if I could put it very simply. This is like Yu-Gi-Oh! Chess. And depending on the terrain, I can move a certain number of spaces. I will get attack bonuses or attack losses, and so on and so forth. And for the beginning, it won't be too bad up until we get to Pegasus and then another duel, which is going to be Lab Ruler. And I'll explain each of the terrains as we come across them, because there's actually a bit more than you would expect. It's got two more here, as long as I don't misinput these. Alright, the last password coming up here. This card's also very important. All these cards really are important, but this one especially just because this one gives me 2 movement on any tile, no matter what, which can be very helpful in certain scenarios. Alright. Alright, and we are finally done with the deck edits. Now we can actually play the video game. That was a lot of preparation, but you just got to hear some groovy music. And here we go. So the first duel is going to be against Rex Raptor. And for this duel, it is going to be a bunch of Wasteland tiles and some Labyrinth blocking our way. But luckily, we can kind of box him in, or we can use a card called Dimension Hole, which is going to be pretty much the MVP card if we can get it out. That's going to be, for most of the duels, the fastest way to actually go through with the duel. I do not get it, unfortunately. Okay, I have a fusion here, so for the backup plan, we're going to kind of box them in. So we're going to make this fusion right here. And because we are on Wasteland, we're simply going to turn it face up. And it can move 2 tiles. It'll gain power. We're going to move our deck leader over, and then now the opponent will have his turn to respond. Now, this isn't the ideal hand, since what remains is only 2,000. Ideally, it would be about 2,100, because he's got some monsters that can definitely outclass that. Okay, this is not ideal, but we did get 2 equips, so Violet Crystal, which is one of the cards that we crafted. So it's going to be 2,000, and once we flip the face up, it's going to gain some more power, so as long as he doesn't draw any powerful monsters next turn, and as long as... Oops. And there is one spell card called Eternal Rest that can also be a bit of a problem, because that's going to destroy all of our monsters. Alright, it's just red medicine. I saw the green, which is the spell card, and I got a bit worried, but it's only red medicine, so it just increases his life points by 500. So we're just going to be pretty much chasing him down and boxing him in. Yep. Just going to stay in place there. Ooh, Eternal Rest. That is a bit unfortunate. So, within 2 turns, he drew the 1 copy of that card in his deck to kind of ruin this whole thing. So, unfortunately, I do have to reset the duel. But, that's alright. We could get a faster duel next time. Some of these duels, you can just have 1 bad card drawn against you, and then it's just over like that. Typically, that's a very rare occurrence. You typically can pass this duel pretty handedly. So we're going to try yet again. Thankfully, though, after actually beat him once, this has a little I beat you line, and we can go right back into it. We don't gotta hear his whole spiel again. All right, so we're gonna try this again. Again, we are trying to look for Dimension Hole, or we're gonna try to find powerful monsters to box him in. All right, great, and we got Dimension Hole, and this can maybe be okay. I'm gonna ditch. I'm gonna ditch 2 of these cards actually, because I really want to make that golden mammoth here. So with Dimension Hole, it will pretty much teleport us right to where we activate the card. So you see here, we're going to be able to pretty much jump way forward up. And with this, we will be able to pretty much rush him down. And for a lot of the AI in this game, they don't know what to do, or they can't defend themselves enough because a lot of these boards are very open. All right, perfect. And we, just for good measure, we are going to just boost this Great Mammoth up quite a bit. This is going to be at 3,500. So even if he does play the Eternal Rest here, it'll be okay because I'll be able to actually move 1 tile up and then play over that card, or in that space, and then attack him just for 1. Yeah, so he's going to play a card there. And if it stays there, I'm just going to simply use this card, run it over. It's a monster, so a bit of a time loss because I have to, battle it, but now I'll be moving forward and then playing over top of it. And he only has 500 left, so I can play pretty much anything at this point. Sure, let's have another zombie. Keep with the theme here. All right, and that is Rex Raptor. Now, once you actually defeat these duelists, there's a bit of a graveyard slot machine where whatever is in the opponent's graveyard, you actually have a chance at playing slots and getting said cards. So obviously, the faster the duels, the less cards here, and you want to try to get Fake Trap, which I did not, so lost a small bit of time, but for the most part, most of those cards will not be useful. There will be some times where I could get a very useful card, but those are pretty niche situations. All right. Now we got his Rose card. And now you see the map begins to open up a little bit, but we're not going to worry about those 2 duels for now. We're actually going to go up and fight Weevil, which, if you can guess, or if you've watched the show, he's surrounded by forests, and he plays insect monsters. So while my deck is pretty much focused primarily on zombies, there are a couple cards, including ones from the passwords, that I can bring in. I can also play down field spells, which I did not get. But good news is I have a fusion for an AI manip. So for a lot of these duels here, I'll be able to actually... give me a second. Yep. So for a lot of these duels, I'll be able to actually fuse, for example, this monster here. Oh, wait, Fiend. Oh. So one thing that I forgot to mention, that some of the actual fusions in this game are very specific, and I think I misjudged one of those, but that's okay because that was a pretty bad hand anyway. So we're gonna try this again and just get a better hand. So ideally, we are trying to find a monster with a terrain bonus, or we get Dimension Hole or Yami. Otherwise, a lot of these duels are pretty much improv, which you don't really want to be doing. So it's actually better for me to just quit the duel and then try again and then try to get, one of these starter cards here just to make things go as smoothly as possible. So let's try this again. I'm going to play this out one more turn just because this is, again, not a very good hand. So I'm just going to be dumping cards here. Pretty much just going to be seeing if I draw anything decent here this next turn. Yeah, so he's guaranteed to pretty much move over like that. Playing over this card, because keeping my cards in the graveyard is, or can be, important. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We are going to do this, and leave it face down, so that way he can try to run into it. So that way we can do some decent damage, because we're already at 3,200 here. See if he goes into it. Yep, and he does. And that's a lot of damage. That's 2,200 points of damage, so we are more than halfway there. The only issue now is that he is running away to the corner. So it'd be really ideal if I actually have a movement speed bonus card. Ooh, and I actually got 2 good cards here. So what I'm gonna do, and this can be kind of risky, but I don't think I'll be in like too much danger. So I'm gonna use Dimension Hole to actually move closer to him. And then I have 2 options next turn. I can either play Wasteland and wait even longer, or, and let's see what he does. He's probably gonna attack me directly, yeah. Ooh, 2300. That's pretty strong, actually. Do need to deal with that immediately, as I am now on the losing end of this. So here's what we're going to do. Let me double check with my fusion list here, see if I can do anything with this. Doesn't look like I can. I actually have a terrain bonus monster, but it's only at 1250. So what we're gonna do here, since this is an insect and he has terrain bonus now, we're actually gonna be playing this Wasteland to where it will not have terrain bonus anymore. And hopefully if I'm, not punished for my really bad play and or, continuing on with this kind of improv duel, let's see if I survive through this. Ooh. Living on the edge, essentially. And because he did that, he opened himself up to a direct attack. Okay, so a bit unorthodox, but it works. I will take that dub any day. So, funny enough, that is not even the hardest duel in the beginning of this run. The next duel is actually fairly difficult, and it's Pegasus. Reason being is that he is kind of isolated, and he has a lot of trap cards, but the good thing is that he is very telegraphed, so if you see him place a card from the top left and then moves it to the center, that means that that's going to be a trap card. And that's just a couple things to look out for, and that's the one that has the easiest to actually kind of recognize here. So currently sitting at 2-2, sitting at 500 even record, which is not the greatest, but it's alright. But this duel here, we are looking for a couple of things. So one thing that I've not had to deal with yet really is breaking through the Labyrinth walls, which I actually have, I believe, 4 cards in my deck to actually break through that. So I need a combination of a Lab Breaker and a Field Spell, and then also good cards on said Field Spell, because he is surrounded by Toon terrain, which is not good for me because it will actually lower my attack points and only will increase Toon type monsters. So we're gonna move up 1. Did not get anything, unfortunately, so we're just gonna be dumping cards here, but I want to try to at least make some fusions to where I get more cards in the graveyard. Reason being is that there's a card called Muka Muka, where it'll gain 300 attack and defense for every card, or monster card in my graveyard, so the more that I can get in here, the better. And we're just going to be ending our turn, paying attention to what he does here. So he's playing the top left here. If he moves to the center, that means that it's a trap card, which it's not, so that's definitely a monster or a magic card. So we got the Labyrinth Breaker, but unfortunately we can't play it because it's a 4-star monster. So one thing that I also didn't really explain too well is that depending on what stars you actually use, will actually take away, and, I had to dump a lot of cards, so I pretty much went down to 0, and every turn you gain 3 more stars. Oh yeah. Tremendous Fire, so that's going to deal 1,000 points of damage to me. Bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. Now we're up to 6. Oh, and we got an even better one. I'm going to keep him around, but we have some decent cards here. That can be useful because I can move on any terrain twice. So as you see, we're going to run over that Labyrinth wall and it's going to erase it essentially. You want to put as many cards as we can in the graveyard just in case we get Muka Muka. Oh, and it keeps on getting better as we have Yami. So now it's going to turn all of that Toon terrain into Yami terrain, which is going to be good for me. Unfortunately, though, that's also kind of good for him, but let's see if he does anything with it. He usually likes to play very defensive. Mimic Cat. He's gonna copy Tremendous Fire, as he usually does, so he just got another copy of it. He's pretty much gonna be trying to burn me to death, which is a bit unfortunate. Let's see. Okay, so I can make this. In fact, I'm gonna make it like this so I can keep another strong monster for next turn. So that's gonna do 2,000 points of damage, but now I have Dragon Zombie for next turn, so that way he'll be 2,100 points of damage. So this is gonna be game next turn, as long as everything goes right. I'm a bit scared, not gonna lie, but we're gonna see what happens because he's gonna burn me for 1,000 right now, and then 2,000 more, and then I'm dead. But it looks like he doesn't really have anything. He even moved the tremendous. Oh, never mind. Tremendous Fire's the other one. Ooh. Okay, so it looks like I live by 1,000. Yep, so I live by 1,000 since that's gonna burn me for another 1,000. These past two duels I've been pretty much on the edge, but you know, we somehow make it work. So now we can just, you know, just for good measure. In fact, let's bring out the big one. We're not playing around here, right? We gotta show off the great mammoth of gold find here at a beefy 3,000 attack points. All right, so that was one of the harder duels in the beginning of the game, and handled pretty well. All right. As you can see, they only have one monster in their graveyard, so not really much to actually choose from there. And coming up next, we have Ishtar, which she's a bit of an interesting layout, and there's a couple of different strategies to actually go with here. You know, a lot, like, for most of these duels, a lot of them are look at your hand, see kind of what you have, and then plan accordingly. And for Ishtar, she's surrounded by a lot of water tiles. But she also has some other like stuff like crushed terrain and the occasional wasteland as well. All right, let's see what we got. We have a field spell, that's good. So we do not need one of these machines. I don't want to dump too much again because I don't want to be in the same situation as last game where I overdropped essentially. So we're going to dump this. Sometimes she likes to block my pathway. Hopefully she does not do that. Ooh, it looks like she might do it now. Yeah, sometimes she likes to do this. It's a bit unfortunate. We're still able to actually get this like Yami face on, but it's not as deep as I'd like it to be. Looks like we are gonna be okay though. I'm gonna pretty much dump everything actually, because yeah, I'm gonna do this. It's gonna make Skelegon with Dragon Zombie plus another zombie, and then Violet Crystal is gonna pump it even more. So 2,700, 2,200 whenever it's not on Yami space. Now, the most problematic card for this duel is if she has Mirror Wall, which essentially would like half my like attack power every time that I attack her. But yeah, it looks like this one's actually pretty smooth, which is good. It's like one of the few duels so far that have been pretty much as expected, even though she like, kind of blocked me. Everything went pretty well. And now, probably the most frustrating duel of the early game, besides Pegasus, is the Labyrinth Ruler. And as the name suggests, there's a lot of labyrinth spaces that we have to deal with. Essentially, we are looking for one of two things, either a Dimension Hole to kind of rush down the far right side, or a Lab Breaker where we can kind of charge forward. So we'll see what we get. And he also has some problematic cards, and I'm not going to lie, while I was practicing, I was also having a lot of trouble during this duel as well, so fingers crossed that this treats me better here today. And here we go. So we're pretty much going to be dumping cards and then moving to the side, unless we find a Labyrinth Breaker, then we're going to be pretty much charging straight through And we run about 4 Labyrinth Breakers, and we have 2 Dimension Holes in our deck. So first off, we're going to just check. And we do indeed have a Lab Breaker. So, Green Cap is going to be also useful, and so is the Field Spell. We actually have everything that we pretty much need, not going to lie. Let's see. Yeah, so we're going to move this up 1, and move our deck leader behind it. Ooh, Jirai Gumo. So that monster loses 100 points every time that it moves. Also negates card effects. Not the ideal scenario. In fact, I'm just going to dump this card because this is not as useful. I'm going to play over it. Okay. Gonna move that over there. Perfect. That was a perfect draw. We are going to play that field spell there. All right. Okay, we are now going to do this. Mod is 3,000. Move Can Soldier up 1 more. And see what happens. And he will nullify my attack gain, but because I am on the Yami terrain, that pretty much saved me there. So that's good. Ooh, Ukazi. I also run that card in my deck as well, just have 1 copy. Just comes with a standard deck. Decent 500 burn. If you know from like the actual card games that card actually does not deal 800, actually deals, or sorry, it doesn't deal 500, it deals 800, which is a lot more threatening, obviously. Let's see here. We're going to move him over 1. And I want to dump some cards as well, because all these cards are not very useful. Unfortunately, my setup was not the best, so a bit of improv here, but we are in a very good spot. And he's going to stay in place, which is good. He's on a Yami tile. We will lose Cannon Soldier, but that's okay. I'm not going to attack him because then that would pretty much trade us. Alright, and I got another Lab Breaker. That's good. The only bad thing about this is that he can kind of do a lot of damage to me, so this can be a bit risky, but we'll see how this plays out. Okay, that's not a whole lot of damage. I will definitely take that. I'm kind of getting boxed in here, though, which is not ideal, obviously. So, now we're going to be attacking because he put himself in defense mode for whatever reason. He's at 1,600. Alright, we're gonna use this guy now. So, Green Kappa copies the attack and defense of the strongest monster on the field. 2300, so that's what the monster likely next to me is. And we're going to be chasing this guy here. And luckily, even if he moves away, since there's that Yami-Sa right there, which he's not going to move away, which could be bad for me. Let's see. Alright, 900, that's completely fine. We're living on the edge as per usual here in this run, unfortunately. Ooh! And we drew the Mother Load. We drew Muka Muka. So I'm gonna double check here, make sure I do not screw this up, because I do not want to be accidentally fusing. Pretty sure Plant Rock won't make anything. Let's hope I'm right. Alright. So, as I was saying before, with Muka Muka gains 300 for every monster in my graveyard, which means we're going to be at a whopping 4,800. A bit overkill, but, you know, we want to try and guarantee it. I don't get power decrease, but, you know, that's okay, because the duel's already over, right? Alright, that was another scary duel out of the way. And now, we're going to go on to Bandit Keith, who, for whatever reason, isn't American anymore, and in his bandana, rather than having the American flag, it is the actual UK flag, which is a bit funny. But for this duel, he could be a bit of a problem as well, because I need to pretty much play at a bare minimum 2200 attack monster at the beginning. If not, there's a couple backups that I can try, but for the fast finish, essentially I'll be playing a card right away, and then due to like how his like AI is programmed, he will pretty much just kind of sit there and then let me kind of rush him down. So let's see if he is going to be nice. I'm going to move up one, see what we got. So we actually have Dimension Hole, and we do not have another good monster to actually throw down. So I'm actually going to be going for the backup here, which is Dimension Hole. So we're going to be discarding these two cards. Now, this is level 4, but that's all right. All right, playing a card to the side is a lot better for us here, yeah, especially because that's a power increase. So that's really good for us. And now he knows what it is. That's completely fine. I'm about to use it, Keith. Thank you. Now this lets us summon the card directly in front of him, which, funny enough, will be... Actually, we're going to do this, actually. I don't make this used very often, but this is one that is pretty useful here. Cybersaurus. Dinosaur Machine. This is one that you don't really see too often here, because typically if you have a like dinosaur, you want to be using a zombie, but you know, given the circumstances. Again, a similar thing to the first duel where I'll be... Ooh. That's a big defense he's got there. That is a bit unfortunate. So what we're gonna do now, this is a bit of uncharted territory, not gonna lie. So we're gonna be dumping some cards here, because we need to get a Lab Breaker. So he's kind of walled us off here. And he actually didn't wall us off. He actually kind of opened himself up. If I have... Oh, yeah, perfect. So he opened himself up as he opened a space right up for me to just kind of sneak right in. And 19, yeah, so no matter what I throw down here, Green Kappa is going to definitely kill. Alright, and Keith was not, exactly as I had intended, but it works out the same way. Alright. We're getting a little bit past the halfway point for this first set, because like I said, we have to fight through the red roses and then the white roses. Alright, so coming up next is going to be Panic, or as he's called in this game, Darkness Ruler. This one's a bit interesting because, for whatever reason, if you just throw monsters on the side, he'll kind of charge forward and kind of box himself in. But like the only stipulation is that I pretty much need to have decent attack power cards on the side for like him to do that. Otherwise, he'll have a very likely chance at attacking me, which is not good. Yes, Baron Keith. Again, for the complete lore for this game, this is based off of the War of the Roses, which I believe happened in the 1480s in England, in which they just inserted Yu-Gi-Oh characters and even changed some names up as well. Okay, Crash Clown can be decent here. I want at least one pretty strong monster, though, so we're gonna do this. Pumpkin at a pretty big 2600. Move it up right there. I know this seems kind of weird, but he's going to move forward. Now, he has some traps that he can actually play, which he's fusing, which is good. I mean, that's a monster. And okay, so that's definitely not a trap, which is good. For whatever reason, he places it behind himself. And now... Ooh, I actually did not pay attention to my summoning. But I think that's okay, because Green Kappa, again, is going to be coming in clutch here with, copying the attack power of either mine or the card back there, which, that's a pretty good card. 3100, what he's got behind him is pretty powerful. Oh, he actually plays over. That's interesting. I don't know if I've seen that before. That's a bit of an interesting pattern that he's done. Okay, Now we're going to be kind of just rushing him down. Unfortunately, for Green Kappa's sake, I cannot move him 2 spaces because he is a warrior-type monster. I'm wondering if because it's a warrior and not a zombie or anything with a terrain bonus, that maybe that's why he decided to go back and run over his own card. But he moved right in front of my 3100 attack power monster, which I doubt he's going to be able to kill. Again, with most of these duels, they can't really defend themselves very well, and whenever they try to, due to a lot of the field structure, they just don't have the actual option to anyway, because I just kind of rush forward, especially if I have something like Dimension Hole, which this is the one duel where you actually do not want Dimension Hole. It's actually a dead card in this duel. There's a couple of duels as well, but this is the first one. Alright, this is gonna be kind of the last of the regular duels here, and this is gonna be Necromancer or Bones, which is one of Bandit Keith's minions. It's the short guy with the giant 5 head in that zombie duel versus Joey, if you remember, from the Duelist Kingdom arc. Alright, so this one can be a bit annoying because if I do not get a Field Spell or Dimension Hole, I have to go for a bit of a slower manip. Let's see what I get here. And I get Dimension Hole, so this is very good. It's one of the rare chances where we're going to be putting it here on the side. We actually have Dragon Zombie, which is good. Alright. Have one Summoning Star. And for this one, actually, this is another rare duel where we're actually be activating Dimension Hole fairly early on. Usually you wait till the next turn, but for this duel you want to be activating it for the first turn. And again, since Bones is on the Wasteland terrain, this is going to be very beneficial to us, as we are going to be able to just pretty much take him down. In fact, we're gonna take him down with his own deck leader. We're gonna be that guy. Now, he actually can beat over this, but hopefully he doesn't. See what he does. If he does, then that's okay. He may be able to now because of that power increase. Yep, Skeleton. It's alright. No big deal. Nope, and yep, and he can't defend himself again, and in there. Okay, so the next one coming up is going to be a very tough one, and this is Richard. Now, if I remember correctly, because I have not actually beaten Forbidden Memories, I've actually tried to, but as many of you know, towards the end of the game, grinding for some of those cards is pretty rough. I believe this is a character from Forbidden Memories, but correct me if I am wrong, which I most likely am wrong, but for like this duel, this is one of the few duels where it is pretty much improv. There's a bit of a strategy that like I actually can go for to kind of bait him away from like going towards me directly, but for the most part, I'll just be kind of doing stuff on the fly and hoping for the best. So don't be surprised if this duel takes more than one try. Although at this point, I've only lost 2 duels, which is actually pretty good. I was a bit worried at the beginning, but I actually turned it around pretty well here. Yep, exactly, Dragon Lord. And actually, Green Capper for this duel can be very useful because of the Sogen. I think it's called Sogen, or the fields, like that terrain. He actually moves 2 spaces on that because he's a warrior type. Okay, so we're gonna be playing cards on the side, kind of baiting my way, unless we're at Dimension Hole, but we don't have any good cards to go with it, which is the bit unfortunate part about this whole thing. You know, we have the opportunity to here, so we're just gonna try. We're gonna dump some cards. Play this out in front, see what happens. He may run into it, though, which is... Yeah, so there's a chance that that can happen. Ooh, 2200. Here's what I will do. Do this. Yeah, we're gonna do this. You'll be taking a fair bit of damage, but in the long run, this is gonna be okay. And again, been unfortunate on how things turned out. And unfortunately, because of how I had to set this up, he will be attacking into me for 2200 rather than just for 1700. So I'm gonna be taking a bit of damage here, but hopefully we can recover this. Again, this is a duel where pretty much it's improv, so I kind of just winged it. I guess I safer play could have been to not move Dimension Hole as far forward. Okay. So Fiend's Hand is actually pretty useful. We're going to keep that for later. Now I can definitely get over him with Skeleton. Normally I would play over this, but because of where I'm at in my life points and the unpredictability of this duel, I'm actually not going to. So I'm going to just keep him here in case he keeps that other card in attack position. And he doesn't. Throw some of these cards here. It's in defense mode, so for Fiend's Hand, if it gets destroyed, it will destroy the attacking monster. And unfortunately, it's not even gonna die. It's actually pretty funny that that turned out like that. But that means that we can retaliate back. 2,000 to kill him. Can I kill him? I think that just barely does it. Yep, and we got him. So, a bit of a sloppy start, but hey, Richard first try is pretty good. So now we have 2 more duels coming up here for this first one, and this one is by far one of the hardest ones because of the RNG involved, and we're going to be fighting Seto Kaiba in his really cool Blue Eyes White Dragon armor, which we fortunately don't get to really see too much other than his actual character portrait, but, you know, can only imagine him kind of like riding into battle with a full Blue Eyes White Dragon set on, you know, looking really cool. But, yeah, so for this next duel, we're going to be looking for either Dimension Hole to do something similar, which even then, he has a tendency to either run straight forward or run to the sides. Or what you can do to pretty much be as risky as possible if you don't have anything else to do. Throw out your like strongest monster and hope for the best. If you summon something with at least 2100 or more attack, it can be anywhere between 27 to 55% chance that like he will run straight forward at you, which is pretty good because then he'll be just eating that much attack the very next turn, and then it's pretty much a guaranteed 2 to 3 turn kill depending on what you draw. As we get some more lore here related to the War of the Roses, which to be honest I do not follow too much. I actually probably should read up on like some of this actual you know, 1480s history, but victory fanfare. All that's left is Seto, but unfortunately that's not the end of this half here. We have to fight Seto, and then we have to fight Skull Knights. And with Seto, we get a brand new song, same with the Skull Knights, so we're gonna get a bit of a change of pace here. And here we go. So we're looking for Dimension Hole, or we're looking for a strong monster to just throw out there. Lab Breakers are also pretty good, because on the top left and top right corners, it's going to be good for extended turns. Oh no, this is not good. We have Green Kappa, which is decent. See what he does. He might go to the right or in front. He went to the right, that's not good. His hand's not too good, so I'm just going to restart here just because I'd rather try for him to actually run forward or to have a more playable hand, because that hand was just not very good. Ideally, I would have had a monster just kind of throw out there and then hope for the best, because then I could have at least had a fighting chance. But with that hand, I didn't really have a whole lot going for me there, especially because he went to the side. It's a bit of a problem with Seto is that he can be a bit random in his movements. All right, here we go again. Ooh. As many cards as we can. Slay Warrior is going to be really good, because even if he does kill it, it'll create Crush Terrain around him, so let's see what he does. Alright, this is what we want. That is perfect. Straight 2400 to the face, and then hopefully, if I can get a fusion together here, we can kill him here. Shoots. It's gonna be Green Kappa, I think. Yeah, it's gonna be Green Kappa's work. Let's hope that's a monster behind him. Oh, 1300 is not enough. Feels bad. He barely lives. So that's a pretty weak monster behind him. Oh, he actually didn't move too far away, but now he's got Destiny Draw coming, which means he can choose any card from his deck and add to right to his hand, which shouldn't matter too much. And this should be the final blow here. We're saying Muka Muka just in case. Save it just in case. It's a trap card. Alright, and that is Seto Kaiba, second try. Not bad, not bad. Alright, now we have one more duel to go here before we are done with this first side. And if you're wondering why, you know, this is about 49 minutes or so, whenever we get to the second part, there'll be no deck edit, and there'll be a whole lot less cutscenes as well, so that's going to be a bit of a time save there. And a lot of the duels on the second side are a bit easier. A lot of the harder duels are actually through, like, this half here. As now, for the last duel, I'm not going to begin to pronounce this guy's name, but if I remember correctly, looking up some of the lore in this game, he is based off of Welsh mythology. So, I'm not going to be able to like, try to like, pronounce his name, but for pretty much, for the sake of simplicity, this is going to be Skull Knight, and then the next boss towards the end on the second part will be Chakra. I'm being very creative with this game, taking a lot of creative liberty here. Fighting at the same place. So this is going to be a pretty much similar layout to the last duel, except for instead of the middle being normal terrain, it'll be crush terrain, which can be good, because that means that there won't be a lot of strong monsters to actually put down. Let's see here. Alright, this is some good stuff. We actually have a lab breaker, which is really nice. Yeah, we're gonna move up one. So since that's on crush terrain, it can't be too strong. And if you remember from the Yu-Gi-Oh show, on the crush terrain tiles, anything that is 1500 or more attack will be destroyed automatically. So hopefully it's okay. I'll take that. To be honest, that's fine. So with a lot of duels in this game, and in this duel especially, if there's nothing in front of them, they'll pretty much stay in place, which is good. So it's kind of good that that happened, to be honest. And it's gonna make him move up. Now we're gonna try again. I don't use Muka Muka this early, to be honest with you. But for the sake of... Oh, another... Oh no, that's not... I didn't know that's gonna be back-to-back traps. That's very unlucky here. There's a lot of resources for that. And just like that, Force. But whenever he plays it, it's gonna die to the virus. But, not about 1,000 life points, which is, you know, not good. Make 1,500 if I do those two. This is just not looking good, folks. I mean, I'm gonna try to whittle him down, but this is not looking too hot here. And normally I'd want to play over this card, but you know, if I play over this card and he summons anything, I'm pretty much dead. Another attack, I think, for this one, right? Yep. Ooh, this is getting close here. Ooh, I might be able to get him. Double check my hand real quick before I make any too much of a hasty decision here. Darn it. Unfortunately, doing this boosts a lot of his monsters here, but I'm going to be putting my guy in defense mode. But doing this lets it to where I can kind of sneak in a very quick attack on him, so I'm going to put that in defense mode just to be safe. Hopefully I don't die here. He's going to stay in place. Hopefully I have finished through all of his traps. Alright. The time is now. Please, no more traps. Alright, we finally got it. Alright, so that is the first part of the run done. We're not done yet. We actually have to, once I do this all over again, but we got to fight for the other side now. As we're going to make a save and then continue on. And to get the full story, you have to go through both sides. Alright, so I'm skipping a bit of cutscenes here. And we have a small break. I don't know if there have been any donations during the 55 minutes. I know I've been a bit of a chatterbox. I do apologize, but please, by all means.
No apology necessary. I mean, honestly, I don't really know the first thing about Yu-Gi-Oh, so it's been good to learn all of that. Like, hey, I finally know the dude with the blue eyes white dragon. I only know it from the meme.
Bit more context, yeah.
Yeah, we have had a $5 donation from Roadkill Revenge, who says, "Good luck on the run. Loved DOTR as a kid, and this run is a fun one to watch. Heart."
All right. Making a save here. Once it's complete, soft reset the PlayStation 2. And for the most simplest kind of explanation of like Yu-Gi-Oh, it's essentially a game about math, attack versus defense, attack versus attack. It's all a bunch of math, but there's a lot of intricacies behind it. But if we're like put it in its simplest form, it's just math, which not my favorite subject growing up. And I actually did play this game somewhat often around 2012 to like 2015 with some friends of mine. But always loved playing the video games and watch the anime, of course. All right. And we are going to load, and it's going to bring us back to where we were, essentially. Except for I'd be choosing the White Rose this time and fighting against all the good guys. But we do get a new backing track during all the duels, so a bit of a change of music. And again, there's going to be not a whole lot of cutscenes and no deck edit, because it'll keep the same deck from the last playthrough that we just did. So we're just going to be going right into it here. Indeed, it is time to duel some more, but now we are with the baddies. We have to fight Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Yugi and Company. Not Yu-Gi-Oh! And Company. And a lot of the duels, except for one in particular, which can be very annoying because of the terrain on this side, are a bit easier to actually overcome. There we can get right into it. Going up against Taya. And again, for most of these duels, the name of the game is Dimension Hole will be the fast strat, otherwise there will be certain backups. But for this one, she's a bit of a pushover, as she is the first duelist, so she's fairly passive. She has some decently strong monsters, but I should be able to summon things that are a bit stronger. Alright, so I have some strong monsters here to work with. In fact, I'm just going to be pushing this forward. Actually, no, I'm not. just kidding. I had to refer to my notes. It's best for me not to do that, but I will be pretty much doing all of that the next turn here. So we're going to be slowly pushing forward, and she will eventually attack into it. So we're going to make Zombie Warrior with Dragon Zombie. Oh, just kidding. That's alright. 2400 is still going to be way more than enough. I misplay there on my part. Pushing this forward again. See if she attacks into it. She tends to attack into it, so... Yep. And unfortunately for her, not good enough. Because I'll be able to get 2 attacks in, because I'll be able to attack her once with the Dragon Zombie for 19, and then I'll be able to actually play over it and create a new monster and do the same thing over again. And once you look at that, our good friend Great Mammoth. Alright, coming up next is going to be Tristan. For this duel, he's got a bit of a weird structure, which I guess now I should actually mention is that I want to say recently, maybe 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago, there was a Redux mod for this game where it changed a lot of the layouts for all of these duels to make them a bit more strategic, because if you've noticed, a lot of the layouts have been a bit lazy or a bit uninspiring at times. Some of them will appear to be very random, as you'll see in the Yugi duel. It seems like they kind of just spun a wheel of all the terrains and said, okay, we're going to put that here, do it again, put that here, essentially. A lot of this makes sense. This one is just lines of a bunch of different kinds of terrain. It's a bit weird, but... So we're looking for a Dimension Hole or a zombie monster here. Okay, unfortunately, we don't get anything too good here. Place it down there for now, just because a lot of the AI in this game, if they see magic, they'll be very docile towards it, and they will not be very active. I got anything here? I do. So now we are going to make... I had to think for just a quick second here. Pumpkin. I'm gonna move this here. And now we're gonna be able to attack directly. And since we are on the Yami terrain, that means that we're also gonna be able to move twice, so no matter where he moves, he will be defeated. Oh, he even clears away from me. What a nice guy. As you can see, for a lot of the AI in this game, it's a bit weird, and they don't really defend themselves very well, as I said. I mean, the guy was guaranteed dead anyway, but, you know, he just kind of left me 2 lanes to actually attack him rather than just 1. And that is Tristan. And now, much like the first half, in the second half, the third duel is seen as one of the harder ones, which is Mai. Reason being is that the entire field is mountain, which for my deck is pretty bad. I'm essentially wanting to get King Tiger Wanghu, which I have not really even seen throughout this entire playthrough. I've seen once or twice, but he has not really shown up or been useful, which is a bit unfortunate because he's a really good card. But he'll be really useful here. Also, she can create Harpy's Pet Dragon, which is a 3000 attack dragon monster pretty early, so for the difficulty spike, this duel is pretty up there. Although, if we do get Dimension Hole, then it's going to make things a whole lot easier. So we got Lesser Dragon, which is decent. I don't want to use it just yet, though. Yeah, I don't want to use it just yet. Actually gonna do that. No fusions, which is good. I'm gonna try one more turn to see what happens. Again, this is a bit of uncharted territory, but I do have a terrain boost, which is the only one in my deck, really. Alright, so that's gonna be a powerful card to deal with. That I'm not gonna be... Yeah, this is, unfortunately not what I was wanting. Although, what I can do here... Use this Fiend's Hand and see if she will attack into it. Ooh, she's actually going to be running away from it. Ooh, that's really good. So, again, I don't know if I show this effect off, but if Fiend's Hand is destroyed, it will destroy the attacking monster, which, you know, getting rid of that 3,000 attack dragon is going to be really good. Unfortunately, yeah, this is getting into some uncharted territory for me personally, so we're just going to hope for the best. Thankfully, though, I can finally start doing this. She may be able to kill it next turn, but, you know, at least I get that little bit of damage to start off with, and then we can go from there. Oh, oh no, Monster Reborn for the pet dragon. Oh no, that's not good at all. Wow, that's a lot of damage. Can I even attempt to kill that? I just have to surrender. Yeah, for this duel, you pretty much need Dimension Hole, which is a bit unfortunate. I tried something and we almost had it there, but if she didn't have Monster Reborn, this wouldn't have been too bad. I probably would have to go a couple more turns, but a bit unfortunate there. This is definitely one of the harder duels in the run here. Again, we're just looking for that first turn Dimension Hole, which we run 2 copies of, and we have a hand of 5, so you can do the math there. It's not the highest chance, but, you know, it's definitely a possibility for us to grab here. And even getting a second turn would be okay as well. So, as opposed to last duel, I'm just going to be dumping a bunch of cards here. Because another good thing about dumping all these cards is that it lets me draw deeper into my deck, which that's good, obviously, but it can also give me closer to Muka Muka, which, even given the terrain circumstances, I can pretty much safely say that I can almost one-shot stuff. Ooh, okay, so we got Yami here. Gosh, I have a lot of level 4s in my hand, which is not very good. Like, I don't run a whole lot of level 4s in my deck, and I just happen to draw them all right there, so can't really dump too many cards here, unfortunately. Okay, so we're gonna have to use this Yami here. A bit of an awkward scenario. I'm getting a little boxed in here. I got a bad feeling about this one. Okay. Bit of a weird fusion to do, again. It's not the typical fusion that I normally want to do. But now we are on the Yami terrain, which is going to be a lot more beneficial to us, as long as she doesn't run away, which, since we have no monsters, she's unlikely to, and that's probably Harpy's Pet Dragon. Yep, that's a really powerful card right there. So getting Green Kappa will also be very helpful here. What do we got? A lot of these, there's stuff I just don't need. I can just do this to get more Yami spaces, but you know, a lot of these cards are stuff I just don't need. I will keep the Valor Crystal though, just in case. And at least now she's surrounded by Yami, and I'm not going to move too far forward, because again, I do not want to put myself in a bad scenario. Also, she could run away. She's blocking herself in. Luckily, though, I can do this. Gonna make Pumpkin 2800. Alright, did a good bit of damage to her. She's almost dead. Ooh. Okay. Wonder what she's gonna do here. Whew. So she has to run over that card. She can't move 2 spaces over, which is really good for me, because that means that we're finally out of this duel. Yay. Alright, that was a bit of a nail-biter there. Fortunately, it took me 2 tries, but we got it. Alright. Definitely one of the harder duels on this side. Now we get to fight Mako Tsunami, which, if you remember from Duelist Kingdom, is the fisherman, the one who plays all the fish and sea serpent type cards, and as you can guess, his entire field will pretty much be Yumi, or ocean tiles, which for me is not too good, but that's one of the reasons why we run King Tiger, because you can just kind of move and not care. Also, we have Gruesome Goo, as you saw, which is the one Aqua monster in our deck, which gets to 1800 attack and can move 2 spaces, which is pretty powerful. But again, we're going to be looking for a Dimension Hole, a field spell, or if we get a King Tiger plus Gruesome Goo. All right. Let's see what we got here. All right, we got Yami. Okay, that's good. Okay, so we are going to just do this. Typically, you would play the field spell first, but for this particular duel, we're actually going to be summoning our monster first. And it's going to look weird this next turn, but I'm actually going to be kind of charging at him after I place on this field spell. I'm going to go over here. In fact, I can get rid of that insect as well. All right. And now we're going to flip our mammoth face up and run straight at him. We're at a beastly 3200. You can't really do much about it. He's going to move right onto the Yami tile. Unfortunately, he is blocking me. Now he shows up. Okay. I wonder where that card is. Well, whatever it is, it's costing him the duel. It's a bit of a silly play by the AI, but you know, what can they do? 2001 AI. Alright, that was a bit of a weird finish, but worked out. Alright, and coming up next, we have Joey, which he's got another interesting field. I think it's almost as similar to Tristan's, just flipped the other way, essentially, where it's just, instead of, you know, going side to side, it's up and down for all the terrain bonuses and such, where it just kind of seems there's just columns of terrain. The Mako cutscene was one of the very few cutscenes on this side that we'll be encountering here. And see, a lot of these duels are pretty much back to back to back, and after Joey, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We got like 5 duels left, so we're approaching the end. Yep, as you see, we're on mountain terrain, and there's a bunch of other terrains and columns beside us. Come on, Dimension Hole. Nope. Okay, so for the backup here, I'll be doing this. So if you have Yami, this makes things a bit easier and a bit more safer for this backup. We're going to actually be running forward here with this. It's going to force him to also run forward, but he's going to be going right onto a Yami terrain, which is good for us. And just like that, Joey's pretty much done. Assuming that I have... Spellcaster, Dragon, Machine... It's on Yami terrain. Yep, and we got him. 2100 with the Muka Muka, just for safety. Alright. Coming up next is going to be Shoddy. This one's a bit weird. There's a lot of crush terrain going in a T formation, and then there are little quadrants in the corners of different kinds of terrain. This one's pretty reliant on Dimension Hole, although can kind of improv a bit with this one. It's a bit of a safer duel to actually go against. So we'll see what we can do here. The best thing for us would be Slate Warrior, which you've seen a couple times, which is a really good card because, as wasn't stated before, he has an Immortal type, which is not a real Yu-Gi-Oh type. It was made up for this game, but essentially in the Crush terrain, it'll gain 500 and it won't be destroyed, and it gets the movement bonus, so it's really beneficial for us to have Slate Warrior here at the beginning if we have the opportunity. Did not get it, unfortunately. We do have Wood Remains, though, which is a decent option. I don't want to use that just yet. With this, it is going to be 1500 after it gets flipped face up, which means that it'll pretty much kill anything on this terrain here. What do I get next? Ooh, Dimension Hole. That's good, that's good. Unfortunately, I think I'm gonna have to do it like this. Yeah. We're going to be moving over here to Wasteland tiles, where we can actually kind of poke at him a bit. Oh, he's actually going to be coming right at me. This is probably going to hurt. Oh, 2050. That's actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Does not have movement bonus, so... An awkward duel so far. See what happens though, because I was actually gonna stay in place. Am I dead? I might be dead. Oh, I'm not dead. So it gives us a nice little space to squeeze our monster in between this monster party here. And would you look at that, the MVP, Muka Muka, coming back for another appearance. All right, and now probably the most, call it brain dead, but like, you know, the most straightforward duel coming up here. We're going to be facing Grandpa, or Jasper, I think, as he's called in this game, but if you watch Yu-Gi-Oh, and you recall the very first episode, you know, Yugi takes his grandfather's deck and has Exodia. Well, they took that to the extreme here, where his deck leader is the head of Exodia, and in this game, you can win off of Exodia, but you need to have it as your deck leader, and then you have to have it with like all of the pieces surrounding you, and I don't know if that'd be in the correct placement, but it is a very jank and good strategy, and that's essentially this entire premise of this guy's layout, which, as you'll see here, he will be pretty much boxed in, and you're forced to either go around, or if you're smart like us, we have 4 lab breakers in our deck, and we're pretty much just going to be... Wait until we get one of those, which we get right off the bat. I have a drift on my analog stick. Let me, There we go. Know what that was all about. I had a slight drift and it changed my camera angle. That was a bit awkward. And he's just gonna move straight forward. Waiting another turn to play stuff because I had to use 4 stars because I used Barrel Rock here. Yes, Grandpa, run forward. So really good that we got that opening hand. As now we're just going to be slate worrying here. And then if we draw a decent fusion next turn, we can just end it right there because we're on Yami terrain. Yeah, doing this as intended is not very good, as you have to go all the way around and it's very tedious. Dimension Hole does make it a bit easier, but oh man, power increase, watch out. Also, Grandpa plays very, very passively. Throw the Dragon Zombie at him, why not? And that is Jasper. Alright, we have Bakura, Yugi, and then the final boss, Chakra. All right. So for like Bakura, I feel like they could have done something a bit different, but maybe because of the limited card pool, it was a bit hard to really wrap that like entire character into this game, but for whatever reason, he's like a zombie plant-based deck, and for his deck leader, he gains 50 life points every turn. It's a bit weird. I don't know if I agree with how they built his deck. I feel like it could have been a bit better, like more zombie-oriented, because there's a bit of like plants support in there as well. But we'll be looking for Field Spell or Dimension Hole or Slate Warrior, because as you can see, there's a bunch of little spots of Crush Terrain, which is pretty useful. Let's see what we get. Flavor. The hand do we get today? Neither. That's unfortunate. It's the worst flavor, actually. I do get a forest boost, so I can always chase him with this card, but I'm assuming he probably has a decent way of getting around it. Slate Warrior? No. Ooh, Muka Muka, though. Muka Muka hasn't never treated me wrong, as you've all have seen. Yeah. We have annoying life point recovery here. Unfortunately, it's only 750, but what can you do? Mako remains here. Again, we're kind of softening him up, so that way we can just throw Muka Muka at him, because even if he's on Crush Terrain, Muka Muka will be getting the attack during the battle phase, which means that, you know, just like Wood Remains, it'll die after the attack's already done. See where he goes. Oh, that's actually really beneficial for me. Okay, yep, so we're just going to... Oh. Alright. I mean, that's fine, right? More cards in the graveyard for me, more Muka Muka targets to make him even stronger. Alright. Oh. Destroys rock-type monsters. That's oddly specific. I've never been in the scenario where I've had to actually worry about that. That's, not ideal, to say the least, right? That's not ideal. Still okay, though. We can still probably bring this back. It's just a bit annoying. Oh, man. The life point gain cheese is coming on now. Slay Warrior would be really good right here, not gonna lie. Nope. Fortunately, I have to surrender. I didn't think I'd be surrendering on this duel, unfortunately, but, yeah. It's a bit weird. Okay. Well, you know, I took a chance with not having Field Spell or Dimension Hole, but that's the risk that you take, right? You know, we're still at a good record, 18-5. See if we can hopefully get one of those 3 combinations of cards. Alright, try this again. Alright, we have a Field Spell, which is good. All level 4s I just don't want to deal with at all, really, to be honest. I was gonna get rid of all these level 4s. Those level 4s are just trash. Bring it down to 0, which is not the greatest, but it is what it is. And now with the field spell, it's going to make things a whole lot easier, as you can see. Pretty much be able to just play a monster and run him down. As this is how an ideal duel will look like. Perfect. I guess this doesn't matter too much, but I'll get rid of it anyway. And the boss monster, Great Mammoth Gold Fine. 3,000 attack. As no matter what he does, pretty much guaranteed game next turn, so. Yep, gain your 50 life points is all you're gonna get. I guess in case he has a trap, I'll do it like this. Yep. Alright, and now moving on to the penultimate duel, Yugi. So Yugi's feels a bit interesting. There's a couple of like labyrinth spaces that are kind of blocking you off, and there's another like random blobs of like other terrain just scattered about. All right. There's a little cutscene beforehand. No, is there? Let's see. Nope, just gonna get right into it. I think it's after this duel, then there's a little cutscene because that'll be the final duel. So. All right. I can see very weird layout here. Dimension Hole, which is the fastest strat here, which is good. We have Muka Muka, which is good. Let me think here. We're gonna save that card, actually. Yeah, we're gonna save that card. Move this up one. Activating it as per usual. We did not draw a lot. Yeah, we didn't draw any good cards. This is not good. This is only 500 that I'm attacking him for. This is not good. Perhaps I should have saved that gruesome goo there. In hindsight. Okay. This is okay now. Doing a good bit of damage here. Destiny draw, just like Kaiba. Yeah, this only burns for 500. In the actual game, it actually burns for 800 exactly, but what can you do? And Yugi is defeated. Now we have the last duel coming up here, folks. as this duel is going to be pretty similar to the end of the first half, except for instead of it being crush terrain, it will be Yami terrain. This one's a bit more riskier because of the fact that he can be more aggressive because of the Yami terrain, because on the crush terrain, he has to be a bit more cautious and can only throw out weaker monsters, but for this one, it's a bit more difficult. Alright, getting on our boat, going back to Stonehenge, where it all began. And I guess before we actually get to the final duel, if you have any time for donations, or if you want to say anything, you think you have about a minute? All right. So going to this final duel again, this is going to be very similar to the first go-around, where it'll be the exact same layout. And we can do a couple things. We can be very aggressive and just kind of charge at him, or we can kind of play it a bit safer. The one thing, though, is that if we do charge at him, we have to get something with at least 2400 attack, because he has Kinetic Soldier at 2350, and that's the strongest turn 1 monster. Okay. Dimensional is not bad. Oh, okay. Interesting. He just didn't move. Alright, Skeleton, do me proud. I'll be able to summon that next turn anyway. Okay, see what happens. Oh, and he moves around. Assuming that's not a trap card, I think we're good to go. And just like that, that is the final duel. Time will be coming up as soon as I click X on you win, which will be now. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelists of the Roses, the spiritual successor to Forbidden Memories. Thank you all for letting me showcase my 3 runs here at Ragnarok. And hope everyone has a great rest of the evening and a great rest of the marathon. Thank you all for watching.
GG, Tyler. Thank you so much for that run. We have got The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time Randomizer, standard, unvetted. It's going to be run by Fant_TV. Please look forward to that. It'll be coming right at you in just a few minutes.